on this isometric grid, when you take a look at the inside, with just three of these, almost like the graph, it's making a cube shape. And we had this a little bit before. But what I'd like you to do is just come down. I'm just coming down two of these to make, I'll just sketch this out, a three-column, just to get a measurement, and just creating this as a box. So when you take a look at this section, I'm just using this to help me, and this is a great assist as far as putting together isometric drawing in a perspective. So there's the kind of the linear drawing of this, the prior to all the shading. The inside, when you take a look at the top of this, is going to be offset. Now if you made it into the square in the middle, you could see that it would attach to all the things, but it'd make it just a little too tight. So you're just going to go to the center of these four squares. So it's very much a geometric pattern when you take a look at it. So when you take a look at these pieces, you're creating that center line. And then from there is where you're going to have this rectangular shape. And from these corners, just extending this down to here, and that's basically your entire shape that you have there. Now, like I said, as we're going through this, trying to shade these with a value scale that's going to work without, so just kind of taking this edge, and this is kind of thinking back and forth to a gradient, and this paper has a little bit of a texture, so it's pretty good to give you a little bit of a tooth onto the paper. And any of the lines that you make, just going with the form, this direction and this direction, and you can see you're creating the shading, but also the light of the paper comes through as far as building that up. So one side, the light's going to be coming from the top right, and then this part just going to make this a little bit lighter, and it's going to start from this edge and blend down and become a lighter value. Okay, this top part is the lightest light. However, it's the background of the paper is light, so you need to differentiate between the two. So this line here, you're just going to lightly shade and blend in there. So there's the beginning of it. So that each facade or each plane from the top, the left, and the right is going to have a gradient on it. And what you're trying then to do is to build up the values with it to take it to a full value range. So you have a straight edge you can use. You can place that right on the piece there. I'm just going to go dark onto this side. That's one piece. You can place it up against the edge and shade up against this part. You can hear it tapping away there, but that's a quick, easy way to use and assist with a little bit of a stencil being the straight edge. And again, you're trying to get this gradient going from pretty dark, and as it comes down, it's lighting up just because of the ambient light causing the reflected light. So that's the place that you're up against. And again, just this piece along with that shape is what you're... And again, you can use the straight edge. Another way is just by drawing the line and then just moving it slightly. I'm just sliding it, and it lets me build that edge up. And the same this way, I can draw the line here and just I'm lightly pushing it with the pencil, and it's helping me guide the pencil straight down. So it's a quick, easy way to shade and illustrate and get something going real fast. And down at the bottom, you're assuming that this is on a surface. Sometimes they'll be floating, but just kind of getting that gradual tone. So you can see this segment. Now I'm going to push this a little bit further just to show you. On the top part here where it's light, I'm going to put a pretty dark line right along this just to show you the value. And it depends on the overall value or color of this object, so we're kind of imagining how heavy that is, but I just want to push it a little bit further. And again, the straight edges, people say they can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Everybody can.